On this episode of Phinside The NFL, this midday Saturday matinee, if you will, we will discuss the Miami Dolphins not being willing to budge off their financial plan to overpay Odell Beckham Jr. We'll also discuss the latest in terms of the draft and pro days and the latest news coming out and the prospects the Miami Dolphins were eyeing at the University of Michigan Pro Day, as well as the Florida Pro Day. We'll talk about all that, including some local talent for you Kane fans that'll be doing the local Pro Day with the Miami Dolphins. Plus, I'll be giving my thoughts on Michael Penix and drafting him. As everyone knows, if you've been watching Fin Too Deep all year, I've been one of his biggest supporters, so I got a lot to say on the subject since Joel Klatt put it out there. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this.
Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, that open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's going over the touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We're back here for another one on this Saturday. I hope all of you are having a fantastic start to your weekend. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. Your boy's going to see Frozen Empire tonight, and as a kid who was a huge fan of the real Ghostbusters, I absolutely cannot wait. And also, I cannot wait for Beetlejuice. If all y'all saw that teaser trailer, whoo, baby, they're bringing it back. So I can't wait. I already see some misinformation in the chat. Yes, you can continue to develop and grow arm velocity. That comes from footwork and mechanics. So yes, velocity can continue to be increased as you get older. If you sharpen your mechanics, you will increase the velocity on the football. And if we were going to talk about Tua and his arm velocity, there is still more of a ceiling to reach. If you actually watch the film and you see him, what does he do a lot? Throws off the back foot, right? He'll do his little curry, little fadeaway, little like he knows it's money throw. So the whole notion that velocity can't be achieved is wrong. Just like it's wrong when people say that Tua can't throw outside the numbers, because when you do the math, heading into week 8, I believe it was week 8 or week 10 of this season, Tua Tagovailoa had the third highest EPA on throws outside the numbers. So Tua can definitely throw outside the numbers. Tua has the velocity to make every level throw. Why you don't see velocity on some Tua throws is mechanical issues. It's not a lack of arm strength, it's mechanical issues. That's what you're seeing. Again, people who don't know the quarterback position want to discuss the quarterback position. This is one of the biggest problems we're running into here. And let's go further into that. And let's talk about Michael Penix, because I see, well, let me play this and then we'll go into it. Let me play this little piece, because I got to cover this.
We waited a long time because I've wanted to do this. I did it in my first mock, and I'm going to do it again here. And I've just been waiting and waiting and waiting on the Tua contract news. So, full disclosure, at the time of this recording, Tua does not have a deal. And to me, that's telling. The way I view Tua and Mike McDaniel's offense is that it's not the right offense for him. this is not an indictment on Tua in the NFL as much as it is fit. I keep saying that. And when you watch Miami and what they really do, what they need is a guy that throws on time with great leverage and accuracy down the field. And there just so happens to be a guy that is his best attribute sitting there available, and that's Michael Penix. I still want to see Michael Penix with Mike McDaniel's offense and Tyreek Hill because let's face it, as good as Tua has played, and he's gotten so much better, this is probably not the right fit. Every time you look up and you watch the highlights, Tyreek Hill is having to stop and reach back and catch. What do you see when you watch Washington? Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, McMillan, all those guys. What do? Never break stride down the field. Never break stride. The leverage that Michael Penix throws with and passes the football with down the field is exquisite. And if you paired that with that offense, I think that they would get better. And then Tua can go and find a fit somewhere else in a system that I think is better for him. So again, not an indictment on Tua, but I like Penix to Miami right there.
So let's do this. I'll tell you why Tua is a better fit right now and why these people. First of all, Joel Klatt is a college football guy. He watches college football. You don't really hear him talking about the NFL during the season because he watches college football. So let's start from there. People are just starting to talk about Michael Penix Jr. now in this community because their Justin Fields narrative fell right on its face. So now it's just who's the new flavor of the week. It's like we're going to Baskin Robbins with quarterback football takes in this community. Who's the new flavor of the week? It's Michael Penix. No one in this community has supported Michael Penix more than me all season. Go watch every episode of Fin Too Deep. I even said I would draft Michael Penix over Caleb Williams because of Michael Penix's work ethic. Why? I've been watching the kid since Indiana. I'm not like all you going on and watching little YouTube highlights and reading little reports and now I want him. Okay? I'm not y'all. I've been watching this kid since Indiana. And the reason, if you've been watching me all year, the reason why I said I'd take him over Caleb Williams is because he has a better work ethic as seen by his growth as a passer from Indiana to where he is today. And that translates to the NFL. While you got Caleb Williams who mopes, who wants percentages of teams, who is already being a headache and doing things his way. You can already tell he's going to be a diva. He was more focused on the draft process than becoming better. That's why USC ain't won nothing with him. And that's why, go watch, when Caleb Williams sat for bowl season, the kid who came in for him lit it up with USC. All right? So let's cover that. So let me start by saying I've been talking about Penix longer than these all people have been. I've been watching him. Why did Justin Fields not work in this offense? It's funny. I try to hear people say, well, Justin Fields is accurate. They were running an iteration of our offense in Chicago. Justin Fields couldn't run the offense. Why? Not a great pre-snap and post-snap processor. Can't make timing throws. And from the short to the intermediate level, and we're not even going to discuss deep, he's inaccurate. Very inaccurate. Now, let's talk about Michael Penix and anyone who actually has watched Michael Penix. Michael Penix has some of those same issues. Michael Penix struggles with timing throws. Michael Penix has missed guys on the short to intermediate level, and Michael Penix is not good at tight window throws. Has anyone actually watched this kid? The tight window throws you see Tua make, Michael Penix does not make those throws. That is not part of his game. When the middle of the field condenses and you got to make those tight window throws, he can't manipulate. Watch Michael Penix. You could see Tua at Alabama doing it. You don't see Michael Penix consistently manipulating defenders. Now, Michael Penix will not let defenders follow his eyes. He doesn't get caught. What Michael Penix does is Michael Penix is not the same level pre-snap or post-snap processor that Tua is. Go look at his interceptions. Go look at what he suffered. Another thing that he suffers from, besides timing, not being a good timing thrower, not being a good tight window thrower, right? And having accuracy issues on the intermediate level, besides all of that, he struggles with processing at times. That's why you see him make poor decisions. And everyone wants to complain about Tua not winning the big game. How did Penix look in the national championship against Michigan? Last I checked, Tua came in for Alabama and won a national championship with them. So what are we talking about? And then let's not even go. Has anyone actually looked at the medical history of Michael Penix? Forget the age. Forget that he's already like 24. He's going to be 24 this season. Forget the age. Has anyone actually looked at the medicals of Michael Penix? Oh, Michigan defense was monster this year. What do you think the Clemson defense was that beat Tua? That Clemson defense was better than this Michigan defense. That Clemson defense was one of the best defenses of the last 20 years. So good, Trevor Lawrence rode its coattails to a national championship and looked like he regressed every year since, and now he's the definition of mid at the next level. So let's not start giving flowers to the Michigan defense when none of y'all wanted to give flowers to the Clemson defense. Whoa, because that Clemson defense was better. They didn't even have Aiden Hutchinson on that defense. So let's continue talking about this. So, Joel Klatt, no. Penix is not a better fit. The deep ball, this is not a purely vertical offense. That's not what this is. You need to be a pre-snap and post-snap processor, which Tua is a very good one at. You hear people around the league talk all the time about it, how quickly he is at it. Okay, check. You need to be able to make timing throws. Like, that is not a question. And intermediate accuracy is much more stress in this offense than deep accuracy, short and intermediate. All right? Which, you want to watch the highlights, Joel? Go watch the highlights this year. Tyreek wasn't slowing down. Waddle wasn't slowing down this year. Sure, was he slowing down in year one? Yeah. You know why? Because they were getting their timing right. It's called growing. It takes a little bit of time to get used to a guy who can run a 4.2 flat almost on the field. Go watch the Mahomes highlights. How many times did you see Tyreek Hill hold up for Mahomes? Was Mahomes not a fit in that offense? Please. And I'll add another thing, right? Timing, processing, short to intermediate accuracy, and I will add one more to those things. Okay? Tua, and guess what? This is why this offense is made for him. Like, it's funny to hear me, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you'd watch this channel, people would come out here and say, oh, I want him to go to when everyone was mad with how Flores was treating him, oh, I want him to go play with Sean Payton in his offense. What was I saying? No, he needs to go into the Shanahan offense. He's the perfect fit for that offense in the West Coast. Why? Because I understand schemes, I understand offenses, and I understand quarterback play. This isn't Madden. So, this whole notion, I mean, we've gone over it. Timing throws, Penix struggles at. Fields was horrible at. Midfield, intermediate to short accuracy. Fields horrible. Penix can struggle at times. Like, what are we talking about here? Well, we can get into the processing too. They're not a good of processor either. Tua's been in the NFL for 4 seasons now. Do you know what basic shells you see? You're just seeing like cover 1 and cover 2. You're not seeing disguises, rotations, pre-snap, post-snap. You are not seeing the stuff you see at the NFL level, and we got to win now. And we got to win now. We don't have time to sit here and let a guy develop. That's how people will get fired. So, I'm just saying, what are we actually talking about here? When you look at what's predicated in this offense, what's asked of a quarterback in this offense, from the processing to the timing, to the intermediate to short accuracy, and I said I'd add a fourth one, the tight window throws. Look at the tight window throws Tua has to make because of McDaniel's play calling at time. Kurt Warner's pointed this out, that the play calling and play design at times hurts Tua and forces him to make. You don't even have to listen to me. Listen to Kurt Warner. That's why you see tight window throws from Tua, and we talk about it in our breakdowns with me and Martin. How many times this year? You didn't really hear it in 2022, but you did hear it this year with me and Martin where we weren't liking certain play designs. You didn't really hear that in 2022. Funny enough, we had a 1A, 1B trajectory. But you have to make tight window throws in this offense too. Penix struggles at that. Fields is terrible at that. And you're picking at 21. We have holes. We need to get ahead of offensive tackle if one falls because of Armstead's situation. I think they're going to add another interior player. Edge rusher seems to be a market they're sniffing around. If they don't add Odell, they need another wide receiver because Tyreek ain't saying that's $56 million cap hit in 2 years. And we don't have a third or fourth round pick. We pick in the first and the second round, and then we don't pick to the fifth. Using 21 or 55 on what would be a backup quarterback is not good business. This is why I wouldn't let any of you people around a war room in the draft. This is why none of y'all people should ever be around the GM chair of a team. And it's funny, the people pushing for Penix over Tua, and remember, I'm one of the biggest Tua guys. First of all, they're the same ones who push for Fields. They realized how wrong they were. They must have heard me bigging up Penix all year, so they pivoted. Oh, maybe if we jump on Reason's guy, there we go. Because everyone knows Drake May's my one. If you've been watching me since 2020, I've been talking about Jaden Daniels since 2020. Did I think he'd take the Heisman leap this year? No, but he's a much better processor than Penix, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I'm a Jaden Daniels guy. You can even go check the tweets. They've been out since 2020. You've been watching this channel since 2020. I'm a Jaden Daniels guy. I told Ball Game at the beginning of the year on air I didn't think he would take the leap that we saw this year at the beginning of this season. But I guess playing with, Brian Thomas and Neighbors, But I'm a Jaden Daniels guy, right? I'm a Penix guy. I've been on record saying because of Penix's work ethic and how translatable, I wouldn't take Caleb Williams at 1. So that's where I'm at. But, I would, if I was a team like that, I would trade back, collect picks, and I would target Michael Penix for better draft value. I'd take Drake May at 1. Everyone knows I'm a May guy. Now, when you're talking about traits, yeah, Caleb. And Caleb would be my number 2. Drake's my 1, Caleb's my 2, Jaden Daniels my 3, and Penix is my 4. But everyone knows, if you've been watching Fin 2 Deep all year, there's no one in this community that's been pushing Penix Jr. more than me. I'm a big Penix Jr. fan. I didn't wait until a month before the draft when my Fields narrative, and these are the same people that told all y'all Josh Rosen's a franchise quarterback. Right? They told y'all Skylar Thompson's a quarterback 1. They all told you Brissett and Bridgewater would beat out Tua. These people have been so wrong, and yet they'll try and manipulate it and tell you they're right about Tua coming off a season where Tua just led the league in passing yards. That's how manipulative these people are. The receipts are out there of how wrong they've been. They have no credibility talking about the position. They have nothing. Hell, I saw some of them were trying to jump on Jordan Love this postseason. When I remember in 2020 on the Tuesday night panel, I used to go up and fight for Jordan Love because of how much I believed in that kid's skill set if he was developed properly. And sure enough, buddy, I've been more right about this position than anyone in this community. I told all y'all Herbert would be Phillip Rivers with better numbers. What are we seeing? He's not even being Phillip Rivers yet. Phillip Rivers can win playoff games. But he's better than Phillip Rivers. He's more talented physically. So, you got these people that have been so wrong about the position now trying to manipulate y'all and pull the wool over your eyes and say, well, I'm right about Tua. Why? Because he lost the first ever playoff game he's ever played in as a professional football player at the NFL level. He's only played one playoff game. And don't say he can't perform good in big games. I'll go back to December 2022. All of y'all told me he couldn't play in cold weather. All of y'all told me he beat the Bills in 2022 at once, and he should have beat them at home if Tyreek Hill, Trent Sherfield, or Josh Boyer did their job. He did enough to beat them in cold weather in their house. And again, everyone wants to throw the blame at Tua. Why does no one throw the blame at Tyreek, a guy who came here because of his winning pedigree, and what has he done? Every key game he has, other than the playoff game this year, he has a big drop. Every game. We can talk about the Buffalo game I just referenced. Right? We can talk about the Buffalo game I just referenced. No? Talk about the Buffalo game I just referenced. Would-be touchdown. Miami wins in the end if he makes that play. Then Sherfield had a drop in the end zone on that same drive. Philadelphia this year has a walk-in touchdown. Would have tied the game 17-17. Drops it. KC in November 2023. Fumble at the KC 31, which led to a touchdown for KC. But earlier he had a drop at the KC 30, which led to no points on the drive in the first half. The guy was responsible for like a 21-point swing. Dallas drops an 80-yard touchdown in December. Baltimore bobbled back in the end zone, drops a touchdown. Buffalo, January 2023, 3rd and 7, down 21-14, fourth quarter, drops it. Dolphins have to punt. We're not even going to get into McDaniel's play calling in the red zone at all, and McDaniel's issues as a play caller. We're not even going to get into that. That's why if you go back and the receipts are out there, I blame the big three for a lot of that stuff. And the big three being McDaniel, Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, and Tyreek Hill. 50th State Fin Fan says, Reason is the best and very thorough indeed. Outdoes all national media pundits with his accurate Fins only content. Thank you, Reason. Thank you, Reason. 50th, I don't know if you and Rhonda heard, but I had the update last week. I had your packages sent back to me, so I'm sending them back out. They will be back out this week, so I'm actually going to email you guys this time with a tracking number. So be out on the lookout for that, okay? All right? So, let's be real here. Let's be real about this. Same people that tried to sell you that Ryan Tannehill was a franchise quarterback. People have been so wrong about the position. All they keep doing is throwing SHIT at the wall and hoping it sticks. What have I said? Well, if you throw it a dozen or 13 or 14 or 15 times, eventually it's going to stick. But anyways, my whole point is here, I'm a bigger Penix fan than these people. I've watched Penix for longer and far more in depth than these people, and I'm telling you, no, you do not take that at 21. No. He struggles with what we need in this offense. Timing, accuracy on the intermediate to the short level at times. He struggles. Tight window throws are not his thing, and he's not an elite processor. So, what are we going to do here? You draft a guy who doesn't check a bunch of boxes, and at 21, we've already talked about it on this channel. You're going to have quarterbacks getting overdrafted. Talent is going to get pushed down to us at 21. I have 20 first-round grades. Okay? I am confident that a couple of those first-round grades are going to be there at 21. That's me. I'm confident. I've heard some people only have 16 to 18 first-round grades in this draft. Anyways, I got 20. So there's going to be talent pushed down to us. It's going to happen. So, because I don't have J.J. McCarthy, I'll start there. I don't have a first-round grade on J.J. McCarthy. He's going to get drafted in the top 10, it sounded like. So, talent's going to drop to us, guys. And talent at position of needs. So, no. No, it makes no sense. It's just, and Joel Klatt doesn't even know our offense. And he's out here talking about, we're just running, we're out here just running a purely vertical offense. And the key word, he told on himself without telling on himself. Right? He told on himself when he said the highlights. Right? He said the highlights. What are you talking about? We don't run an air raid offense in Miami. I don't understand what we're talking about. We do not run an air raid offense in Miami. This guy's out here acting like Cliff Kingsbury is out here. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So LPAD says, Reason, how many first round grades do you usually have? Usually I do fall in it varies, It can be anywhere. Usually it falls in from 20 to 24. Usually that's a safe number. Sometimes it could be a little higher. I've had drafts where I've had 26. It's just, usually it's 20 to 24. That's usually a safe number for me to expect. So, right. But I also have my grading is a little, maybe I'll do it one day, but my grading is a little bit different in terms of if I have someone as a first round / second round grade, what that means is you're a back end of the first round, top end of the second. So I basically consider you a second round. If second creeps in, if top of the second creeps in on your grade, if I have a 1/2, that means they're a back end of the first, top of the second pick. So that's a second round pick, really, right? What do I always say? When you start getting past, 25, you're starting to get into glorified second round picks, right? So, but speaking of, because my next big board coming for y'all, I'm going to be dropping that hopefully Monday or Tuesday for all y'all. It is going to be wide receiver. And, well, it looks like, I was panicking for a minute. Holy jeez. I might have to slide tight end in here. I don't know how this is going to work out. I might have to get y'all to vote. But speaking of wide receiver, which will be the next big board I feature on this channel. All right. Amid rumors, and this is from an article today, and this is what happened this morning. Amid rumors that the Miami Dolphins and Odell Beckham Jr. share an interest in signing a contract, the team isn't going to go overboard to make a deal happen. Appearing on Saturday Sports Center, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported the Dolphins are, quote, not willing to overspend, end quote, for the 3-time Pro Bowler. Odell Beckham met with the Miami Dolphins this past week, and I was told the Dolphins are definitely interested. It's probably going to be at a price point that they're going to have to figure out. So they're not willing to overspend at this point. They don't have a lot of cash. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Jalen Waddle, but they want to pair those with a veteran receiver. So some mutual interest. Per Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald, Beckham met with the Dolphins on Thursday, and the meeting went well, and the two sides have strong mutual interest. And we'll get into Barry in a moment here. Listen, I'm going to have a Patreon update, channel member update, that's going to come either tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how I feel when I get back from the movie tonight. Can't wait to see Frozen Empire. I'm hyped. But I'm going to have an update for you. I'm going to talk about a few things about a defensive player who wants to be paid, and as well as I'm going to talk a little bit about this OBJ situation and just some things that I've heard. So be out on the lookout for that coming for Patreons and channel members tonight. But, listen, here's the thing. People are telling me, reason. You want to pay him his projected salary of 11 point whatever 8 or 9 million on Spot Track, blah blah blah. Listen, okay, let's get this one out of the way, all right? With these projections, all right. Patrick Queen was projected by Spot Track and PFF to make about 18.9 or 18.8 million a year annual average. He ended up signing for a little over 13. It was off by over 5 million. Okay, we do the math. 11.9 turns into 6.9. Nice. But this is where I've been at. And I've said this. I would pay him 6 to 8 million. Right? Guaranteed money. I would pay him 6 to 8 million. You can make this look better than it is. You can give him that 6 to 8 million guaranteed and have incentives laced in there that can reach him up to 11 or 12. It's all about wording. If you guys see, Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Miami Dolphins for a contract up to 11 million. Look at what you got to find out, wait and see until you overreact, what the real money is. Like, you can sign him for 11 million or 12 million up to, but the guaranteed money is only 7 or 8. And that's all that matters. Because I'm 1 year dealing this no matter what. No matter what, it's a 1 year deal. So my whole thing is here, you could just, people are going to freak out, but you sign him for that money, and it's all about the guaranteed money. Now, I've heard they're a couple million apart. I heard that from the beginning. I don't think there's that massive of a gap. If there was that massive of a gap, the mutual interest wouldn't be as strong as it's being reported. OBJ would have moved on. He would have said, they don't value me. They're, undercutting me, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think this is dead in the water, but I think this is another thing of a guy who thinks he can make more money on the open market. The Dolphins are set at their price, and they said, if you can go get it, go get it. It's and listen, people keep trying to refer back to last year. Has Lamar Jackson proven to be a wide receiver friendly quarterback? Guys, everyone knows how high I was on Rashad Bateman. This guy is, other than injuries, when he is on the field, go watch the film of Lamar. You know how much he misses Rashad, whether he misses the read or he misses the throw? OBJ, like Lamar, why do you think they went out and decided to get him on Derrick Henry? The running game works better with Lamar than the passing game does. Probably one of the most overrated MVP seasons. Listen, it's not going to be popular amongst Dolphin fans, but Josh Allen deserved the MVP last year over Lamar Jackson. For what he did in that final stretch to win the division, and he totaled over 40 touchdowns, Josh Allen deserved MVP last year over Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson last year, let's be real with ourselves here. Okay? Lamar Jackson the guy threw for like 24 touchdowns and he didn't even break 4,000 yards. Just over 3,500 yards passing. And if you do include, let's include his rushing yards. Guys, his rushing yards, he doesn't even equal to how much Tua threw in terms of yardage when you add up his rushing game. And he didn't even account for 30 touchdowns. Josh Allen should have been the MVP last year for that final stretch. I don't know what happened. But anyways, I digress. Lamar Jackson is not the most ideal quarterback for a receiver. That's just it. Like, that's why Lamar Jackson would not work in our offense. Lamar Jackson struggles with doing the same things that I mentioned, Penix and Fields, because you're going to learn this is not a skill set everyone has. Timing throws, Lamar struggles with. Intermediate accuracy, Lamar struggles with. Tight window throws, Lamar struggles with. Processing, Lamar struggles with. Look at how quickly it took him Go back to our game with Flores against him. Look at how quickly he didn't adapt to our offense, and he didn't start processing it well until late in the fourth quarter. It was too late. Took him almost a full game. So, OBJ, listen. Here's the thing. Even if you sign OBJ to 1 year, I would not prevent him. If a wide receiver falls in your lap, I don't think a Brian Thomas or a Roma Dinze is going to fall in your lap. But if they do, I'm running. If one of those top tackles isn't on the board or whatever, like if a Talise Fuaga, Troy Fontenot is on the board, or an Olufashinu, you got to make that move. You have to. I'd take that over an edge. I'd take it over everything right now. If one of those if one of those top 4 tackles falls us at 21, I'd make the move. And I keep the back of my head. I don't trust Greer when it comes to Marius Mims. I don't. And now you look at Joe Klatt, that video. He had a Marius Mims going at 20. So, just saying. I would personally. My priority would be offensive line, and then edge or defensive tackle. Like if Jazan Newton's on the board, or everyone knows I love me some Chop. Everyone knows me I love me some Latu. If one of those edge guys are on the board, I'm not taking an interior player. Like I would take a tackle that could play guard for year 1. Like if it's J.C. Latham's on the board, that makes sense. He could play right. He could play right guard for us. Really, you could replace Robert Hunt with him, and he could play right tackle too. Or I think you could kick him to left tackle, right? And for people saying, "Well, reason, he plays right tackle." Well, please answer me the story. They both went to Alabama? What did the Cleveland Browns do with right tackle from Alabama, Jedrick Wills? What'd they do? Kicked him to left tackle. So I think he can make the transition. So there's going to be options. Listen, wide receiver, the only way I'm moving on wide receiver is if it's one of those top 4. That's it. And then the top 4 offensive tackles have to be off the board too for me even to consider it. But I'm not reaching for Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell. Everyone knows I love Xavier Legette. I tried to trade back and draft Xavier Legette if that's your cup of tea. I love Ladd McConkey. Everyone knows that. I'd take Ladd McConkey and Xavier Legette at 21 before I took Worthy or Adonai Mitchell, and I wouldn't take Legette or McConkey at 21. So that tells you what I think about that. So, but yeah, wide receiver definitely in play. At 55, definitely. Because we think we're frustrated about Tyreek Hill's hands. Go watch the tape on Xavier Worthy's hands. And, this has got to excite you as a Dolphin fan. If you're a nerd for this team, if you're a fan of this team, this has got to excite you. This has got to excite you. All right? All right? Look at what he said. First of the quote tweeted. Many free agents who visited Dolphins haven't signed with them yet. Beckham, Haynes, Chosen, Jenkins. Dolphins have specific vision of what they want to spend on players. Perhaps money visions of Odell Fins will align at some point. Who knows? It'll play out. Mutual interest remains. And then he quote tweeted that and he said, by late July, they need to have a highly skilled number 3 receiver, whether it's Beckham or LSU wide receiver or Texas wide receiver at pick 21 or someone else. By late July, in my opinion, they need to add someone highly skilled at Wilkins' spot. Those and another edge are biggest remaining necessities. Guard will sort itself out. I'm telling you guys, what have I told all y'all? Get ready for Jack Driscoll and Eichenberg at right guard, battling it out, and Isaiah Wynn, and they get another body in there to battle with Isaiah Wynn. Get ready for that. Get ready for that. And there's positive to take away from this. They have an idea of what they want to do with their money, and they're sticking to it. They're not budging. Like, hallelujah, hallelujah. You know what they've been? You know what the Dolphins have been of recent years? They've been that, that boyfriend that cheats on his girlfriend and just buys her a Louis bag to stick around. They just throw money at the problem, the situation, and hope it fixes itself. Like that's the problem, and it's nice to see they're not taking that approach right now. What a breath of fresh air. My God. I'm hearing Boyd wants the bag. I'm hearing Boyd wants some money. I haven't checked in on this, but that prominent wide receiver that said Miami's has a dead set number, they're not looking to overspend on the position. I got a feeling that's Boyd. Buddy, you're 110% right. Jackson struggles as a passer. Rashad Bateman has, some of the issue has been the accuracy. Okay, Lamar Jackson struggles with timing throws, struggles with tight window throws, struggles at processing. He'll miss guys, whether he'll just flat out miss the read, and then he has accuracy issues where he'll flat out just miss the guy. There's plenty of film out there. No, here's where this guy's wrong. This is where you're wrong, and this is where you need to learn ball and learn the position. Tua is more limited than Lamar as a runner. If you're talking about as a passer, it's not even close. Learn ball. We're talking about quarterback and passing the football. We're not talking about running around in circles. Tua's more limited as a runner, but as a passer, Lamar is more limited than Tua Tagovailoa. And it's not even close. And if you say differently, you tell on yourself that you don't know ball. See, we're confusing limited athlete with limited passer. That's what y'all are trying to spin this and turn it into, when that is not correct. Tua is a much more advanced passer than Lamar is. That's literally a fact. Tua is not as advanced as an athlete and runner that Lamar is. That's also a fact. Thank you very much. I'll do you one better. Michael Vick was a better passer. RG3 was a better passer. No, that's not how it works. Tua is a better passer, that's all. Jackson is a better all-around player. How does that work? What's the number one thing a quarterback has to do? Pass the fucking football. How does that work? Again, you're confusing quarterback with athlete. What you said makes no sense. Tua is a better passer, but Jackson is a better all-around player, and they both play quarterback, and the number one thing you got to do is throw the fucking football. Do you understand how stupid you people sound? Do you not realize how dumb you sound? Oh my Lord. Holy. Go take an IQ test, please. Go make sure you're not on Forrest Gump spectrum, please. For the love of everything holy. Look at that. These people. Again, you got people that type without knowing what they're talking about. Holy jeez. You don't even proofread what you type. Huh. My Lord. Really? These days you can't. What, didn't Brock Purdy go to the Super Bowl? Didn't Jared Goff go to the NFC Championship? What are we talking about here? Tom Brady won how many Super Bowls as a pocket quarterback? Didn't he beat Patrick Mahomes? Was he mobile? What are you talking about here? Again, you want to keep going? These people come in my chat and they try to see how many times I can make them look stupid. Is this like a drinking game you play with yourself? Holy jeez. My God. Matt Stafford. You think Matt Stafford's running around and causing a ruckus? Let me know. Didn't he win a championship recently, even with OBJ? What did Matt Stafford do? Yeah. Let me wonder. Please. Take your L, put it on your dinner plate, go get a fork and knife, and go eat it, and go home. My God, people will say anything just to say something. Unbelievable. Absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I wonder who won the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Yeah, the greatest quarterback who's ever played, who I've been calling a GOAT. Guess what? The mobile quarterbacks can't beat Mahomes. How did Josh Allen look trying to beat him? What did Lamar do? Lamar scored 3 more points than Tua. Lamar didn't have minus 29 weather. Lamar wasn't on the road in Kansas City. Lamar was at home in the comfort of, he could drive to the field, didn't have to deal with minus 30 weather, didn't have wind gusts of 26 miles per hour, and he put up 3 more points in our offense. So how'd that mobile quarterback thing work out for you? Thank you very much. Yet another L. You guys make this too easy, man. Too easy. Too easy. Let's get into some draft talk. Let's get into some realistic draft talk, okay? Not Penix at 21. So, Florida Pro Day. The Gators Pro Day was not well attended compared to previous years. That's because the program has only 2 draftable prospects, Ricky Purcell, the receiver, and center Kingsley Iguakun. Both project as late day 2, early day 3 prospects. Iguakun has had a solid day on Thursday. If anyone's wondering, he's my center 11. So, yeah, I got a late third day grade on him, right? He timed 7.3 seconds in the 3 cone, 4.4 seconds in the short shuttle. He touched 32 inches in the vertical jump and 9 feet in the broad. The mobile center, who measured 6'3.5" and 304 pounds at the combine, looked good in position drills. Iguakun is getting a lot of interest from center-needy teams, Miami Dolphins and Pittsburgh Steelers. It's conceivable whichever team does not come away with Jackson Powers-Johnson in round 1 uses a pick on Iguakun later on in the draft. He's my receiver. Sorry, my receiver. Ricky Purcell he's in my top 15 receiver list. But Iguakun, he's my center 11. Now, the thing you see from him, he's a good athlete, gets to the second level well. I see why they like him. He moves well in space, right? Like, I can see why they like the traits in terms of that. The issue with him is his anchor. He's got a pretty weak anchor. He's going to need to get cleaned up in pass pro big time. Big time he's going to need to be cleaned up in pass pro. He can move. He's actually pretty, he latches on to someone in the run game. He can move you. He's decent, in the run game. But pass pro needs to be cleaned up. I can see why they like him because of the way he moves and how he moves in space and how he gets to the second level. But yeah, anchor's kind of not there. So day 3 prospect, if you're sitting there in the 6th and he's on the board, what does that hurt, right? Like, what's your what's your backup plan to Aaron Brewer? You know, to be honest with you, like, it reminds me of like a poor man's Aaron Brewer in terms of, you know, like he's 304. I believe he's 304, 305. And what's his face is Brewer's like 295. But a lot of the same thing. He excels in the run game more than he does in pass pro, moves well in space. But I would say Brewer is the better athlete. And I would say Brewer's obviously, because he's doing it at the NFL level, the better run blocker. So, you know, that's really where I'm at with that kid. I see it as a day 3 intrigue type of thing. All right. Now, let's get to Michigan. Because no, they weren't there for J.J. McCarthy, as some of them might try to tell you. So, edge rushing linebacker Jalen Harrell timed 4.68 seconds in the 40. A good mark for him, as well as 4.33 seconds in the short shuttle. Looked terrific in pass rushing drills and more than held his own in coverage drills. Michigan coaches have spoken highly of Harrell to NFL teams for leadership and character. He's met extensively with the Rams, the Bears, and the Raiders. His teammate, Michael Barrett, is still recovering from a hamstring issue. Ran the 40 in a time of 4.62 seconds with a short shuttle mark of 4.43 seconds. The off-ball linebacker met with the Miami Dolphins, Indianapolis Colts, Cincinnati Bengals, and New York Jets on Thursday. So they met with Michael Barrett, off-ball linebacker. He's okay. He's not Edgerrin Cooper or Peyton Wilson, you know what I mean? Or even Curtis Jacobs for that factor. Or a guy I'm kind of high on is Tyron Hopper, who can fit that off-ball linebacker role. Again, with Barrett, funny enough, they signed a guy named Shaq Barrett, and they're looking at this, right? Funny enough how that works, huh? But, he's okay. This isn't a, oh my God, like, what's going on, guys? Like, this isn't, let's write home and figure out how we can make this guy work. He's going to be a day 3 guy, I think. Now, it could be even, it could be even, he could even be a UDFA depending on how that board falls. Right? I think Harrell's a UDFA. I don't think Harrell is going in the first 3 days. Maybe he goes on day 3. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah. Doesn't really move the needle for me at all. Interesting to know because now people are going to wonder, okay, I think a guy they were there to watch, and I've talked about him on this channel a lot. I'm high on him. Everyone knows I'm high on Roman Wilson. I've been high on him since the Senior Bowl, right? Another guy I'm high on that I just dropped my defensive tackle board. I'm pretty high on Chris Jenkins. Those would be the guys that I would have been looking at. But Chris Jenkins, I believe Chris Jenkins and Zach Sinter weren't able to participate, if I remember correctly. Zach Sinter is hurt. And that would be a guard option. Like, people aren't realizing that what the Ravens have in the clip with Voorhees. They're letting that slip by a little bit. So, and then sticking with that, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Just for more of you guys, the Dolphins are going to have that local day that they have every year. And Cam Kitchens, James Williams, Matt Lee, Leonard Taylor will also be in attendance for that. Now, where Kitchens is with me, he actually is, once I finalize my board, Kitchens has fallen down my safety board. You know what I mean? So once I finish it, he's my... he's 8 right now, my safety 8. A guy I like better than him, I love out of Texas Tech, one of the sleepers of that safety class I love is Dadrion Taylor Demerson out of Texas Tech. Man, that guy's a monster. But yeah, Cam's fallen down a little for me. And I don't think he goes in the first at all. Now, Matt Lee. Matt Lee's an interesting one for me here because I'm actually kind of high on Matt Lee. I think he's actually a decent center prospect. And he's an interesting center prospect. So y'all will see when my center big board comes out, but I'm actually high on Matt Lee. That's actually the guy I'm the highest on the list is Matt Lee. That's an interesting center prospect for me. So now let's get into this because, hey, we already had Tyreek Hill snub the Jets. Well, it looks like we had someone else on the Dolphins currently snub the Jets.
So my agent was talking to me about potentially going to New York, and it was New York all the way up until maybe I don't remember what day I signed, but until the day I ended up agreeing to terms with the Dolphins, and they just came out of left field for real. And I love the prospect of going to New York, but Dolphins they just more established as a team. They more proven at this point, and they got some good guys in the room, like in my pass rush room. So I was looking forward to partnering up with them guys and no state tax. So that helps out a lot.
Was it the Jets or the Giants when you say New York?
Oh, Jets.
Gotcha. That would have been fun, right? Because you played alongside Tom Brady, or Tom Brady was your quarterback for a few years in Tampa Bay. Now Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. So was it mainly just the state tax, or you just think the Dolphins were a better opportunity for you than the Jets?
Yeah, I just think it was a little bit better of an opportunity. And then just thinking of my family, I had to factor that in a little bit too. So now we'll be able to stay in our Tampa home, and they can stay with their homeschool teacher. And then we figured out they do 1 week up here, 1 week down there with me in Miami. So it was just part of that part factored in a lot as well. Not having to really uproot everything and just for 1 year. So it would suck to have to do that. So I was happy that this pretty much best case scenario. If I could have to move, just going down the road a couple hours and the family still get to stay here and keep our nanny, keep our homeschool teacher, everything get to stay the same for this upcoming year. And I'm just down there for about 5-6 months anyway.
Take that, New York. We beat you guys again. Not only has Tua never lost to you, but when it comes to free agents, have we really lost? Was Dalvin Cook last offseason really a loss after what we saw and how they used him? We won that one too. Love it. I love it. I love it. So take that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I appreciate y'all for coming through on this Saturday. If anything breaks tomorrow, especially with the OBJ situation, you can depend on me to be out here being the first trying to break it for y'all. But do me the favor, man. There's well over 460 of you in the room on this Saturday. Do me the favor on the way out. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. If you've seen Frozen Empire, put it in the chat. Was it good? Because I want to know what y'all thought. Man, I can't wait for tonight. I can't wait, baby. So, man, gonna be a good time. Why are we talking about Skylar Thompson in the chat, huh? Why are we talking about Skylar Thompson, huh? I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on a guy in the 6th or 7th to potentially replace Mike White's money and replace Skylar White because you don't want to talk about quarterback. We don't really have a good number 2. I'm not a fan of our number 2s right now. Now, 21 to 55 is way too rich with the needs we have. We need a third weapon. We need a replacement for Armstead. We still haven't really replaced Christian Wilkins. There's definitely need. We're going to need another safety. I don't know why Barry Jackson didn't bring that up. With the amount of 3 safety packages they ran last year in Baltimore, we're probably going to need another safety too. So we got holes to fill, man. We need an edge rusher, another edge rusher. So we got a lot to fill, man. Do me the favor. On the way out, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're coming up on 15K. I appreciate each and every one of you, all of you that donated. Thank you very much. And guys, as always, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day until Margaritaville. They send that cease and desist our way. Have a fantastic weekend if I don't see y'all before Monday, everyone. Take it easy.